Hey guys, so many of you might recognize the piece behind me. This is the original season 3 and 4 insert dash, the same one that Universal Studios used on a soundstage to film all of K.I.T.'s close-ups of his voice box, of the speedo clicking up, the tack, and all that stuff. So it's really cool. As you can see, it's halfway in the middle of a restoration that kind of got stalled due to, you know, the semi project. But we will get back to this one day, I promise. But today's video isn't really about this directly. We're going to continue our series on our Fanhome 1/8 scale kit model build. Now you might remember a little while ago, we started this series of videos where we unpacked and assembled the first couple issues from this this kit. Well, I've got a couple more issues here and I'm ready to assemble them. And what's really cool is one of the issues we're going to go over today is building the miniature version of this, the dash for this 1/8 scale kit model. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Fanhome, let me give you a little introduction. They are a company that creates these model kits, these highly detailed, intricate model kits. They've done tons of research, and recently they've released their Knight Rider kit model kit. And it's 1/8 scale, which is like, you know, it's like 2 feet long. It's a giant model with working lights, sounds, all this stuff. It's absolutely amazing. And when you sign up, they will send you pieces of the kit every month until your model is complete. And it's really a fantastic, the quality of the parts is really what has impressed me. I mean, these aren't cheap plastic models. They're high quality metal, rubber wheels, I mean, lights, all kinds of awesome stuff. So highly recommend you check them out. There's a link down in the description below if you want to check out the kit model kit. Kit model kit. Yeah, I like that. You know, as we go through this, we'll talk a little bit more about it. But yeah, today we're going to take this, miniaturize it, and build the one for the model kit, as well as building one of the wheels. And also, which is probably one of the coolest parts for me for this build, is we get the miniature scanner working. So let's get moving. All right, so let's get started with build number 3. As you remember in our previous video, we covered builds 1 and 2. We got our hood, got the underlayment in, got one of the hinges in, the latch, turned out awesome. We also got our front bumper in, we got the scanner in, we've got the fog lights in on the one side. So next up is KR003, which is one of the wheels. I'm kind of excited. I'm really looking forward to checking out the details of this and seeing just how close they actually are to the real thing. So we've got our kit. We've got our book that Fanhome provides. So for number 3, we've got, of course, our more information about the show, which is awesome. Beautiful, high quality color screenshots, still shots. I mean, pretty awesome. I love some of the trivia that's in here regarding the guest stars and the stuntmen and all this stuff. Very, very cool. All right, so we've got our book open here. We've got our parts. This is the left front wheel. We're going to start here. So I think first, let's get this thing open and see what we're working with. So with any luck, I will open this without cutting any of the parts inside. That should do it. All right. We'll just do it this way. All right. All right, so let's see what we have. Let's lay out our pieces, then we'll kind of go through them and see what is in here. We got all our screws here. All right, so the first thing I noticed is the tire. Look at that, Eagle GT, Goodyear Eagle GT. So the 1982 Trans Am came stock with Eagle GT tires, and that's what KITT had. And the fact that they replicated these tires is just a really, really cool detail. In fact, look at that. It even says P215 65R15, which is the correct size tire. And the tread is absolutely perfect. Recreated exactly. That's so awesome. And it's rubber. It's a hard rubber, but that's a rubber tire, which is really cool. So we've got the rim, or at least the front part of the rim. Now, obviously, this isn't made like a real rim of a car, and I wouldn't expect it to be. But then we've got the hubcap here as well. And I'd imagine, yeah, just locks in right there. And then, boy, I know I'm jumping the gun, but that looks, I mean, they nailed it down to the indent on the Pontiac arrowhead right there in the center of the hubcap. So that's pretty awesome. Awesome all around. And then, of course, we've got some brake parts, caliper, we've got a spindle here. So I think this is maybe a dust shield. So let's see what we need. So we're going to start here with the tire. And according to our book, we need to take this piece, which, by the way, is metal, which is, again, the quality. All these pieces, I mean, very, very, very high quality. So we're going to take this. The tire is the same on both sides, which is to be expected. The Eagle GT tires are actually, one side has white letter tires and one doesn't, but it doesn't matter because KITT never had white letter tires. So this car shouldn't either. All right, so we got that. And then we got to put this in on this end and align it. All right, so we got to get these little screws in these holes to hold this backing piece to the front. And I was having a heck of a time, and then I realized this rubber, I had it in a not warm location, so the rubber was kind of tough. So I warmed this up with a hairdryer, and now they go in super easy. So that was my fault, but something to keep in mind, because this you know, at first glance might seem like, you know, there's no way you can connect these two pieces together with the tire in the middle. But if you need to, just warm up the tire a little bit with a hairdryer, and then you can compress the tire just enough to get those screws in. So there we go. All right. So next step, align the two posts on the caliper with the holes in the bracket. And we need BP screws, BP screws. Again, everything's labeled super nice and easy. So we'll just open this up, grab our two BP screws. There's one, there's two. Set those aside. And looks like it goes like this and like this. Align that up like so. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. These tiny screws. There we go. Just run a screw in here. Hold those together. And another screw right here. When I was a kid, I was subscribed to a Model of the Month club. So every month I would get a new model to build. And I loved it. And I don't build nearly enough models. All right, so the next step, we're going to take the flat face of the disc brake to the rigid side. We're going to line up the keyway right there. Should be as simple as popping those in together. Look at that. All of a sudden we've got a caliper. All right. I'm sorry, a rotor, not a caliper. It's like I don't know what I'm talking about. All right. So now we've got our caliper and our rotor. That slides in there. I've changed enough brakes to know how that works. All right, then we're going to take our wheel here, and oh, I see, it's got the keyway. We got to line up the keyways here. So we're going to line up our keyways. Put that right down in there. I think that did it. Yeah. So line that up, and then our spindle here, which also, as you see, has a keyway. There we go. Oh, I love it. Nice clearances. It's just beautiful, just beautiful. All right, so what do we have next? Holding the wheel assembly together with the rim 3B upwards, place the washer. So we've got our washer here. So let's pop this bag open. All right, we got a washer, and now we need an FM screw. Again, clearly, easily labeled. Let's grab our FM screw. I received so many wonderful comments from the first video we did on this. A lot of you guys subscribed to Fanhome, to their to the model, so you can maybe build along with us. I think that's awesome. Really, I mean, you know, this is really, really an amazing, high quality build. This is definitely the nicest model I've ever built. All right, so we're going to screw that in the middle there. Okay. Now, I think I screwed that in just a hair too tight because the wheel is pretty hard to turn. So I'm going to back this off just a tiny bit more, because we want the wheels. There we go. We want the wheels to be able to still turn really nice. Okay. All right. So the last step here is to put the hubcap on. Now the hubcap is plastic, and I see there's just a little bit of junk here. So we're just going to lightly, very lightly trim that off. That's left over from the manufacturing process. There we go. So now we've got a beautiful, beautiful TurboCast hubcap. And one other thing I thought was just a really cool detail is it even has the valve stem here with a cap. I mean, the cap doesn't come off, but the valve stem's there, which is really neat. All right, and then finally we'll put our hubcap on, and we need 5 AM screws. So let's get our AM screws out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, take our magnet and get our screws in here. 1. 2. The actual TurboCast hubcaps are just snapped on, but obviously this model calls for a little bit different of a connection process, which is fine. Get that in there. And finally, the last one. And there you have it. We have our first TurboCast wheel. That was quite satisfying. Very, very satisfying. All right. I think that is the end of step 3. Yeah, we got some turbo boosts. Everybody likes a good turbo boost. So that's the end of step 3. Now, we're not just going to stop there, right? We can't. Because the next issue, number 4, is a really, really, really exciting one. It is the dashboard. Yes, the dashboard. Oh, this is going to be a lot of fun. So let's go ahead, see what we got in here. More history. Between 4 and 9 different kit models were used each season to shoot the action scenes. That's sort of right? I mean, season 1, they had 4 cars. By season 4, they actually had 12 cars, but season 2, they had 9 cars. So, you know, that's you know, they did some homework here, which is really cool. All right, the dashboard. I don't think we need to say anything more. Let's pop this thing open and see what we're working with here. Oh, yes. The dashboard. Considering I've got 2 original dashboards here, I think I'm somewhat qualified to critique this. And critique I shall. Let's see how good of a job the Fanhome folks did with this. All right, so where do we begin? I guess we'll start with the actual dashboard itself. Look at that. So clearly they're designing this based on the season 1 style dashboard, the dash on dash look. That's what this crease is here. This is a stock Trans Am dashboard. This is the Knight Rider dashboard that was kind of screwed on top. You got your defroster vents, your speaker grills, which it did have. So far, so good. Look at that. It even says Power Auto Normal Pursuit in super, super tiny letters. That's really cool. All right, so we've got that. We've got, let's check, we got to check the steering wheel here. Oh, look at that. Look, they even copied the Knight 2000 script, which was on Michael Chaffee's original design. And this wheel is metal. It's a metal wheel. And look, it even has the grip indents on the side, the 3 indents. That's impressive. That's very, very impressive. What else is in here? We've got, oh, you know what this is? This is the steering wheel shaft that turns the wheel from when you turn the actual, you know, you turn the wheel, the wheels, turn the steering wheel will turn the wheels. That's what I was trying to say. All right, you got your pods. Those look excellent. They even have the piece here, the bezel piece that is offset. That's good. And back of pods. What else is in here? These are probably just some random bits and bobs. Let's get all this pulled out here. These are all the back pieces for all the gauges, because I believe, I think do they light up? I guess we'll see. I think they may light up. All right, get that out of there. And then we've got all these little fascinating, wonderful doodads. Look at that. Boy, that's pretty authentic. They captured everything right there. That's really, really neat. All right, we've got the RPM, tack board, and then the other display there. Nice. Some other displays. The monitors, look at that. It even has the same vitals that we see in the Pilot, and that looks like maybe a scene of KITT driving down the road. Nice. Very, very nice. We've got some sort of a red acrylic piece there. Countdown. Oh, yes. Oh, look at that. Look at those pods. Those are so neat. A mini turbo boost button. That's awesome. Yes, we better get all this assembled before, you know, I lose any of these awesome pieces. Oh, and of course, the world's tiniest voice box. Hello, KITT. Hello, Michael. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Then one more piece, and then we've got a bunch of screws. So, assembly. So, looks like it starts with maybe this piece. Just looking at see if I can bring the manual in here a little bit. So it looks like step 1, we're taking this piece and where this piece. And let's see how these go together. Looks like they might slide in like that. Yeah, that looks right. All right, it's easy enough. So now 4N, which I believe is the countdown. So we're going to take the itty bitty countdown, which says power, min, RPM, fuel on, and igniters, just like it should. Nice. Very, very nice. And we'll lay that in place. Oh, that just presses right in. It's just a press fit. That's awesome. All right. Then we're going to take this panel we just put together and put it in here like that. So that provides the cavity where we'll put the LED in to light up the top. And then, of course, there's where the voice box is. So we've got that in. So now we need 2 BP screws. All right, so let's take our BP screws, grab 2 of them here. 2 just fall right out. Take our handy dandy magnetic screwdriver and let's get these screwed in right here. Just like that. Excellent. Oh, we're ready for the voice box already. So the voice box just slides right into the front slot. Right like that. It looks like. There we go. That's impressive. I mean, look at the precision fit. I mean, that slid right in. Looks like it's always been there. Nice. All right, so now we've got to take all of these pieces. I believe this one goes in here. Oh, a very satisfying click. Oh, I love that. There's one. See if they're all like that. Oh yeah, nice. There's 2. We've got our monitors, which I believe go this way. Another satisfying click. And finally, we've got this piece which houses these lower fuel gallons, mile per gallon. What's neat is, I mean, you can read the labels on these gauges, which is just nuts. Just nuts that you can read them when they're that small. So this one, is that in? I'm going to trim just a tiny bit. This one doesn't want to go in. So we're just going to slice a little bit of that flashing off on both sides there. See if that makes a difference. Yep, made all the difference in the world. Snapped right in. There we go. Okay, on to the next page. So now we're ready to install the gauges, it looks like. So we'll start here with our speedometer gauge, which, let's see here. I'm sorry, that's not the speedometer. This is the speedometer. It's like I don't even know the Knight Rider dash. All right, so that's going to go in there, and we need a BP screw. Actually, looks like we're going to need a ton of BP screws, so I'm just going to BP screw everywhere, right? We'll just dump all these out. There we go. And the ones we don't need, we'll put away later. All right. That on here. And get that screwed in. Whoops, I squeezed it too hard and the gauges popped out. Let's try that in again. There we go. Nope, did it again. So obviously there's a trim piece that's going to go around this, so we're not going to have to worry about it falling out. But, and it's probably this trim piece, which we'll get to here in a few minutes. So, or actually, according to the next step, we'll get to it now. All right, fine. Let's get to it now. So we'll put this piece on. And looks like we need 1, 2, 3 BPs. So I'm just going to put just the tiniest dab, if it's going to come out. There it comes. Just the tiniest dab in the corners here, because this one is just a tiny bit loose. So if we just do super, super tiny dabs of glue in the corner, I think that's just going to help us in the long run. There we go. There we go. Okay. So let's get this piece on now. Now, let's get this screwed on. There's 2. And the last one. Is back here. Look at that. Awesome. All right, next step is moving forward. Let's get the next 2 gauges on. We'll get the tack mounted. So the tack just slides in like so. We get our 2 screws here. The one in there. And this one back here. Oh yeah, Kit's almost ready to fight crime. Monitor. Let's do 2 more here. Look at that. That's so cool. So cool. All right. So next up, these are the PANP buttons, Power Auto Normal Pursuit. And looks like they go in, they're angled as you can see here. So they go in one way. Is this the right way? Or is this the wrong way? That's the wrong way. Let's try the right way. There. There we go. And once again, another cavity here to, oh, another satisfying snap. Love it. All right, let's get our screw ready. Get that in place. Look at that. I love how they're even just a little translucent. Obviously, you know, they're going to be backlit, but nice. All right, moving forward. Next step is this panel. You know what? This one is just a hair loose too. I'm just going to take a preemptive measure and just put a little dab. If it wants to come out, a little dab of glue on this side and a little dab of glue on that side, just to kind of keep them in place. There we go. Much better. And then let's go ahead and get this panel installed. So it goes this way. 2 more screws. There's one here. We're going through the BP screws, that's for sure. And one here. I wish it was this easy to build a real Knight Rider dash. That's just going together real nice. Okay, next step, switch pods. So what do we have here? We've got our back. Here's our front. We're going to put our switch pods in. Remember, turbo boost always goes on the right side, right? That's where you always see him pressing turbo boost, on the right side. Therefore, we shall as well. Actually, you can't change the two. They only go on one side. There you go. Turbo boost. Deed. All right. Got those in. We put our back piece on, slides right in. And now we need 2 AP screws. We're going to switch it up with some AP screws. One and 2, that's 3. Put one back here in case we need it for something else. All right, so it looks like it's these 2 recessed holes. One there. And one there. Switch pods. Done. Oh, I guess that's all we can do at this stage. So these pieces, it looks like according to the instruction manual, we just kind of hang on to this stuff because we're not ready to attach it yet. So we will do just that. We also have this little red dot here. All right, so let's set this aside and let's move on to kit number 5. Kit number 5, get it? Kit. Okay, I'm here all week, folks. Number 5, and here is our 5th book to go along with it. So let's see what we're getting into this time. All right, we've got other candidates who auditioned to play Michael Knight, Don Johnson and Steve Bauer. That is true. All right, so number 5, and it looks like we're going to use some of the parts from the dash build, and we're going to use the front bumper. So what are we waiting for? Let's go. All right, so what do we have in here? We've got the battery case, some more screws, that out of the way. Let's open this up. All right, so this appears to be a piece of the frame, although Trans Ams don't have frames, they're unibody, but of course they had to make some concessions while they're building this model, which is fine. No one's, except me, is ever going to point that out. All right, so step one is actually going back to the steering wheel, and we're going to take this red piece, which I didn't notice even has a little tiny Nighthead logo on it. That's awesome. And we're going to insert it into the wheel. Attempt to with my large hands. Nice. All right, so once that's done, then we're going to take this and put it on here, and then it looks like we've got 2 screws. What do we need? 2 GM screws. So where are the GM screws? Here they are. GM, General Motors? Sure. Open that up and grab 2 of our screws. There's 1. There's 2. Close that back up. All right. So that in there. Put that over here. Little tiny wheel. Oh, wait. I need to totally do this. Hold on. Will that fit through there? Oh, yeah. Look at that. All right, ready? Turbo boost. All right. Moving on. All right, so now we need front bumper. And it looks like this is the circuitry for the scanner, which is pretty neat. All right. So fit this, and we need 2 AP screws. AP screws. So we've got 1 here left over from a previous section. So we're going to use that one, and we're going to open the ones that actually came with this kit here. All right, so we got our 2 screws. So we got our board. It looks like you have to gently bend the board in the middle. See how it's there's notches cut out. If you look at the picture, it's bent just a little bit to conform to the angle here. So we shall do the same. Just like that. So let's get a screw ready. Let's get a screw ready first. All right. And put that in there. Okay. And then we'll do the same here. We'll get this screw ready. Get that one put in there. There we go. Easy enough. So what else do we have here? All right, so the next step, if we look in this book, we've got to take that panel which is connected to, or not connected to anything, and then, oh, I just realized I did this wrong. These screws go in the center, not on the outside edge. And that is not a fault of the instruction manual, it is a fault of the instructor, aka me. So let's try this again, doing it the correct way now. One in the middle, which actually makes more sense because now the board, the circuit board, can conform a little bit better to the acrylic lens of the scanner. Oh yeah, I like that much better. Maybe I should have done it that way to begin with. Okay, now we'll take this part, and that goes right over there. And now we're going to use 2 BP screws. Where are our BP screws? We've got, again, 1 left over from previous, And there. Okay, get one prepped. Are you guys enjoying this build? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And also put in the comments below, have you subscribed to this model through Fanhome? If you had, I'd love to hear maybe what stage you're at on the build, what you like about it. You know, are you planning to buy any other of Fanhome's model kits that they have, the subscription model kits? I mean, let me know what you guys think down below. I think it's fantastic. I really do. It's such a cool concept. All right, so next it says to put some batteries in. So I think we might have a little bit of a show for you here. Unfortunately, they call for AAA, and all I have are these used ones. That's probably fine. Let's see if they've got any juice in them. I have no idea. Guess we'll find out. All right, so let's connect A to C. Huh. Yep, they work. Look at that. All right. I've got to give some props to Fanhome because this is an LED scanner, yet they replicated the trailing pattern of a halogen. Look at that. That is really impressive. Nice. Just stare at that all day. Awesome. All right, well, according to the book, we've reached the end of the road for this kit. We're done with this one. All right, guys, so we got a ton done today, right? We got the wheel done, we got the dash, and probably most importantly, we've got our scanner and it's working, which is just incredible. We are just scratching the surface on this build. We've got a long way to go, but we're now through the first 5 issues of this kit, and I can't wait to continue on with 6, 7, 8, and so forth. So if you guys are interested in subscribing to the Fanhome kit model, there's a link down below in the description on how exactly you can do that. I highly recommend it. Join today.